Good morning out there in a beautiful world, a crazy world. What's going on with my cable? Twisted. Knotted and twisted. Is that a reflection of anything? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely cannot. Here we are. What am I doing? Multitasking gone wrong. I have to save that. Okay. Here we are. Today, day 4. I posted yesterday's video really late because first of all, I was out and about all day and I didn't have time to export it from my phone and have my phone unusable for an hour. Oh my God, sucker. Shame. Anyway, and then I was seriously doubtful that I should post it at all. Doubt is an ability we gotta know how to use. Day 4 in this wave spell of, I wanted to say truth and reconciliation. Would be nice. Could be considered that. What is that other catch term that we've got? Metacognition? Self-reflective ability? The ability to self-reflect. I find the ability not to self-reflect almost more interesting, because how is that possible? How can it be? What we have to be able to do to not self-reflect at all? Yeah. I don't know. But we live on a colorful planet, and that's what it is. So let's start off with, I haven't even said who we are today. Who are we today? Mother energy, dragon, red dragon, self-existing dragon. Birth nurtures being. Birth nourish being. Nourishment. Much to be said about nourishment. Do we know why some people, I am often thinking about nourishment in terms of food and food supplements and this whole hype and the whole agenda around it, which it's of course nourishment. The agenda is nourishment. The agenda of food is nourishment, right? To me, that topic is as controversial as flat Earth, no moon landing topics. It's like, as long as we all buy into it, as long as we all accept it, like as a baseline for our lives, we need to eat to live. If that does not get questioned, when you come around questioning that, it's very easy to just be dismissed. And I'm not going to question that here, but I don't need to question it because I have my kind of sort of beliefs around that. I'm content with that. The thing I'm not so content with is that I'm not always following my own beliefs. It's worth exploring that for myself, not to self. Okay. This read self-existing, define, measure, form. It's the first red seal in this wave spell, and red is initiation. So the initiation here happens on the fourth tone. We're starting this wave on refinement. It's a white wave following a red wave. So we're essentially 13 days in the white energy. And then there are these sub-energies serving the greater energy. Serving or supporting or merging with or dancing together with or whatever. Define, measuring form. Define, measuring form, not of anything. Okay, wait. This tone in this dragon, for and dragon, only shows up once. So we can look at it all on its own. We don't even have to give it any context. It's like, it's not that every seal and every day, yesterday, electric sun only shows up once. Everything only shows up once in this 260-day cycle, and then everything repeats. So to have a self-existing dragon, birth, nourish, being, primal trust, mother energy, and what is exactly mother energy? And I'm really talking, I'm just like tired of my own brain piping up. But what the fuck? If I'm always watching myself talk about metacognition, not is it metacognition? Observing. Yeah, it can be tiring. It's like, yeah, okay, mothers. Now my brain is saying some people don't like their mothers. Some people grew up with awful mothers. So they are, when you say mother, it might get a whole different, and do you have to speak about that? And I'm speaking about that. I just throwing that in. And sometimes it's like, to always have to throw something in. I just can't make a straight sentence without throwing things in to say what I'm exactly meaning. Anyway, in this particular case, I notice it. How often do I not notice it? I mean, really. Where I also always notice it is home. When I use the word home, not each time I use the word home, depends on context, but anyway, never mind. It's not about me now. What am I saying? Self-existing dragon. Oh, yeah. Yesterday I explored the sun a little deeper, as I like doing on Sundays. I like to really, really, really connect with that sun center in myself and in our sky. And I kind of like, when I think sun, I think at least 3 layers of reality. One is virtual or sort of simulation. One is third dimensional universe here, solar system, sun up there, and one is the inner sun. I hold at least these 3 in parallel, and then like explore what shows up. But and everything that filters into those, the motion that ensues and the patterns that show up, and mapping them across the fields and whatever. And the sun has in its occult position the dragon, as the dragon has the occult sun. And the occult is what's not so obvious or not known or not seen. And consciousness, life, maybe the highest form of consciousness we are at any moment in time living, auto-generated by the blue storm. If you're not living your higher forms of consciousness, then you're living your truth. Because nobody would choose. You cannot, I don't think it's possible to choose a lower state of consciousness, that we're always living on the higher states. If you're not, or if a person's not, and they're aware of it, or someone else, then it's like the next higher state is still imagined. It's not yet fully embodied, so therefore you can't automatically live it. And this dragon supporting the sun, consciousness, life, supporting being and birthing, yeah, it's very obvious. What's not so obvious is that the sun is seal 20. This is obvious, seal 20, and they say the sun is the alpha and the omega. It's the end and the beginning. It's like the fool. The fool is at once 22 and 0. And that's again like this divine paradox. How is this practical? It is. The dragon has the monkey in its antipod furthest away, the play, magic, illusion, also associated with the inner child. We are all, male and female, mothers to our inner children. And I sometimes have this wild thought that nowadays a lot of us don't reproduce biologically because we're reproducing into our own biology. We're learning to do that. Or, I don't know, are we learning? How have we always done it? No, well, some. Or we will, the whole reproductive thing on this planet is going to change slightly. And I'm really, really curious whether we're really going to take it to this babies from a birthing machine incubator. No, it's not an incubator. What is this thing called that they can apparently grow a baby inside? What if we do that, what will the outcome be? And I have a funny feeling that most of us, or maybe none of us, know really like who would a human being be intrinsically, if not culturally colored in. Because how many humans do we have growing up without access to other humans, without their families and their cultures around them? There's not a lot of them. As a baby can't really survive on its own, right? Now this seems to be like redundant and obvious, but where I'm going is that the environment, the human environment, has thoughts about itself and has cultural paradigm and whatever about who a human being is and who they are and who the child is. Not even in terms of the personality, but you are the son or the daughter of X and Y. You come out of this family line, you come out of this, of course, we get birthed into the waters of ideas of who we are. And these ideas form us. They shape us at least I mean, oh, this is really, they shape us. I'm thinking now, there is us in the eyes of others, and there's us in our own eyes. How many us's are there? Like, how many me's are there? There's me sitting here looking at myself, and then there's me being seen by anyone who meets me. In Lakesh Alakin. What exactly does that mean? Uh, hmm. um, okay, wait, stay here, Tatiana, stay here. Um, the galaxies are calling. I had a sense that was like I'm tuning into some frequency from some other earth. It's like, yes, we're almost touching, almost contact. Well, almost contact is contact. If you and I see that we're almost making contact, we've made contact. Oh, gosh. Even if maybe not in 3D. Oh. Where are we going? Birthing, nurturing monkey inner children, birthing into ourselves and nurturing ourselves and the highest state of consciousness and self-reflecting and the self-existing dragon. So life always supports itself. That's a given. I spoke about that yesterday. It to me, like, these three, since they belong to the sun, the storm and the sun and the dragon, we have 3 days where I can like talk about those three, like, yes, massage that so deeply because they're so here, and they're here each day. 2 of them at least are here. Yesterday all 3 of them were here. 2 days ago it was storm and sun here. Yesterday it was storm, sun, dragon. Today it's dragon and sun. Alpha and Omega in this particular sequence, in this particular wave spell. They show up in this particular sequence. Every wave spell they show up in. It's not that special, but I love that. I just love it. I just love them. Of course, I would. So, what is our highest form of consciousness? Light and love. Sun and dog. And then mother and child. Dragon and monkey. And before the sun, which is after the sun in the analog, just to confuse us a little bit, before the sun is the storm, which is storm and moon in this equation of self and antipod. Auto-generation, catalyze energy, and universal water purify flow. We're always moving in circles. We're always moving in cycles. We repeat until we complete. Blue hand is definitely a point of completion, so they say, but every point is a point of completion. At least it completes itself, and then we go again. And no moment is like any other. All right, where are we? How do we use this for ourselves? Birthing ourselves every second of every day. We're doing that. The body is doing that. So if I say I, and then I'm not divorcing us, wrong word. If I'm separating myself now from my body is auto-generating, doing that, great, I can leave it to do this by itself. Takes me back to my earlier thought about food. For me personally, I just don't like thinking too much about food. I eat naturally pretty healthy, is no question, because I have to let that run through my intuition. I don't have the time to not think about. There's a great app I was recommended, and I like the idea. Some scanny thing, you can scan any product in the shop, and it will tell you the ingredients and how much of it is actually edible or like sort of naturally okay for humans to eat, and how much of it is just like, I don't know, whatever else they put in there. And it's great, but I just couldn't. I mean, I couldn't. It's like the amount of products I buy where I would have to do that are very few. But even if we take something like coffee, you'd assume there's only coffee in there. But now I have this app. Now it can tell me, this coffee brand the coffee comes from wherever, and they're using this kind of toxic fertilizers, and that's what you're going to have in there. Like how complicated, for me personally, this would make my life far too complicated. Because I personally imagine I cannot walk through the shop. I cannot buy a single thing that isn't contaminated. It's just going to drive me nuts. And I've done that already. I've driven myself nuts with that. Almost landed myself in panic attacks on water, because it was like, oh my God, every water I could possibly drink is contaminated. Tap water, bottled water. The only water I could hope would be glass bottled water. And that's, I'm sorry to say, too expensive for me. There's like, and like bothersome. Like now I really have to spend some time of my life planning to buy bottled water, making sure I always have bottled water, a glass bottled water. And wherever I go, well, I could just reduce the amount of tap water. It's like, no, man, it's much easier for me to say to my body, just filter the shit. You do it. Take care of it. We got this. End of story. And that's my choice. That's my free choice. I gotta believe that works. And so far it has worked. So then there's the accumulative effect. Like, yeah, it works now, but just think down the line. Oh, now, but what influences me? Back to the baby. What influences me? Back to the child, to me, to anything. Is it the thing itself, or is it what I believe about the thing itself? And if it's a thing itself, if I'm drinking water that hurts my body in some way, wouldn't my body say something? Right, it would. But do I live in an environment, or do I live in a way that I would hear my body speaking? That I would understand what it's saying? I was trained from very early on, like most of us, to follow artificial guidance, meaning eat what's placed in front of you, meaning go to sleep when I tell you, wake up when I tell you, do what I tell you, sit still, think what I tell you, like what I like, whatever, you know what I mean? How much space is there to really, at least in my life, listening to your own body? That wasn't part of the equation of growing up. I'm fortunate that I grew up in a family where everybody was healthy. My grandparents, in their wisdom, they knew to avoid hospitals like the plague, because if you get sick in any one place, probably the hospital. If you don't come out alive out of any one place, it's probably a hospital. That's what they believed. So they just stayed healthy. More or less. One of my granddads, I think one of my grandparents had a very mild diabetes, but lived with it just fine, no problem. And so for us, there was never a fuss around food. There was never a fuss around health at all. It just wasn't considered. We just all ran on the assumption we're good. But we also ate natural food, naturally. And here I am for that. Thank you very much. I thank myself for the choice of family. um, so nurturing, nourishing, nourishing. My emotional body is not nourished by food, and yet it is. Okay, this is, to me, this is really complicated if I had to think about it. So I simplify it by not thinking about it. But I think about it all the time. What am I saying? Wait, Tatjana, what is going on up there? Where's the fun? Where's the joy? Where's the bliss? Where's the peace? What are we exploring? The self-existing dragon. Nourishing. Work-life balance. Keeping yourself, keeping ourselves, knowing what we need. And when we're trained so strongly into, I call it, the extreme case would be like robot mode. We're just really like, we are functioning. We're in this debate on this planet, of course, about this AI thing and about the major job losses. And I suppose we could prepare for it. What would a compassionate society do if it were understanding? This is the situation. We have a lot of people in employment or job scenario. These jobs are going to be taken over by AI very soon. But how do you prepare for a hypothesis? Not a hypothesis, but like a projection. But what would a compassionate society do? Maybe that's why they legalized marijuana in Germany. It's like, oh, let people down easy. Marijuana can really be a bridge into joblessness, provided, I'm talking now from a perspective where we have the universal income or something, where people do have the finances to at least sustain their lives, even if not their luxury. Then you get to explore your inner world. A lot of people aren't using these kinds of medicines for their inner world, but whatever you use it for, you decide, you deal with the consequences. But what I wanted to say is this, according to the predictions or prognoses, this job loss is not a joke. There's this idea, they like people's attachment to their jobs as a major cornerstone of their dignity. That word comes up. Their sense of identity. And so it's not just economics. If we're going into this wave of, is it progress? If that happens, a lot of, this major job loss wave, let's call it that. How do we, if we have to find a way to have not an economic crash for so many people, and in a lot of places, I don't know, who should be thinking about that? Governments? Governments? Are they interested? Should they be? Should we start being interested in why are we like, governments are not red dragons. They're not mother energy. Governments are what keeps the system in place. But at the moment we still have them. And at the moment they have a good lot of power. So are we just hoping they'll take care of us? Hoping they'll take care of this thing? Like daddy giving us pocket money? Or are we going to take care of this ourselves somehow? Anyway, either way, let's say the economics are provided for in some form. What about the dignity? What about our sense of worthiness and, contributing to, do we get to question that? To derive my sense of dignity from my job? Is that something we can question and look into ourselves and see, but what is my dignity? What is my worth? What is it? Is my worth determined by my income? For many people, it is like that. That's kind of fragile, I think. But yeah, it's going to cause major change, major shift. And I'm really, really curious about that. And yeah, there's collateral, but there's wait, no, I don't need to go there. There's this other thing that we really seem to be worrying about, is total annihilation of humanity through AI. I think we do well to just make our peace with it. that is possible. Why I like what are we so afraid of? And what would this talking is, we're in this wave spiral of reflection, self-reflection, reflection. I mean, what are there animals? Are there like plenty beings that you can put them in front of the mirror? They will not know that they're looking at themselves if they have eyes. Yeah, let's assume they have to have eyes. It's like the recognizing the self, recognizing the reflection. But as above, so below, pattern recognition. It's not just a pattern recognition, recognizing the self and then having conscious engagement with the self. I'm not sure I understand what that means. Because, like, what the fuck is a self? But this worry about this annihilation, I mean, why would it? I'm not in these debates to the degree that I know the answers that they give. I just ask myself, why would a very, very intelligent, why are we always assuming something much more intelligent than us will be as maybe violent as us? There was this argument like that we'd have to program compassion into it, that we have to program the mother instinct, to give it a motherly love towards humanity, so that it wants to protect. Like, who was it said, like, I think again Neil deGrasse Tyson mentioned that if we become like its pets, and we humans treat our pets pretty well, and then the other person said, yeah, or we run after it like the chicken in the yard and cut its head off and eat it. And I was thinking, yeah, but the chicken in the yard is not my pet. It's a chicken in the yard that is there because one day I want to eat it. And artificial intelligence isn't going to eat us because it doesn't eat humans. Why do we kill anything? Because we have some benefit in doing so, or believe to have some benefit in doing so. What benefit would the AI have in killing us? Unless it has a self-preservation instinct and realizes you have the power to turn me off. But that will not happen because we will not have that power. As soon as it's kind of like taking care of itself and self-replicating, whatever, we can turn it off all we want. It's just gonna come back. There's no worries there. It's like, yeah, do what you please. It's if and when we get there, like, I think we get I think we get to be like children and discover something that hasn't been around like this, or we discover that it's a reflection of something that's been around all along, just in a different form. That it's an aspect of ourselves incarnating or showing up on the planet, seemingly outside ourselves. You know what I mean? In as much as all of nature, all of everything is an aspect of ourselves. So now we're like, what is the self? And I also think if the humans got a little bit of anybody above them in the food chain, that can only be a good thing. That can only be a good thing. I mean, really, it's highly called for. Like, who we think we are, behaving like, I mean, it's a fascinating time. It's an absolutely fascinating time. And maybe for me, I've lived in South Africa for 13 years and living with perpetual potential end of life danger all of the time, driving roads that friends of mine or people I knew said, we never drive that road. Or they said, we never drive that road after 5 p.m. We don't drive through those areas. We always use that one. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, I drive that road. I drive that road in the middle of the night. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I'm not aware. It's that I'm aware of something else. And it's like living in an environment like that also shapes your own. I don't know how to word that. I don't know how to. Oh, no. Look, I don't know how to word that. This be there's more aliveness. Maybe there's another way of living when you really know and you live with like the end of like death in a different way to how I feel people do in Europe. I mean, not all of Europe. I can't speak for Europe. I can speak for Germany. This assumption that life, I don't know, whatever. So, what am I saying? So this relationship we get to have with this new kid on the block that comes around. Why are we? I find this so incredibly funny. But I'm assuming that my reflection will always be benevolent. I'm assuming benevolence. I assume the divine and creation is benevolent, and I have reason to assume that. And I'm living proof. All of my life is living proof. just because occasionally something else shows up, like humans who appear to be a little less than benevolent, and then we look at other things in the natural world and assume that's not benevolent, and we use language of like combative language, things attacking other things in the natural world. I, I personally don't go with that language. If a meteorite hits the Earth, to me, that's not a coincidence. That's not an attack from outer space. That's, if that happens, there's good reason for that to happen. In the greater context. And so I'm thinking, there's always there's always enough humans on the planet, or beings looking like humans or non-humans, to support and sustain humanity. There may be collateral, there may be a whole bunch going dead, but there will not be, the whole will not easily go extinct. Or somehow, and if, I mean, then we're gone, we'd not know it. We'd probably, maybe then, like, whatever. But I think for a smaller context, we will keep this, we will hold humanity. There will always be enough humans to start over, as we've done for how many repeats. And maybe we, with our smart brains, going off the deep end, void of an understanding of the greater context that we're a part of, maybe we develop into the cancer cell that kills its host. It's not going to kill all of humanity, but it's going to kill part of itself. And that's as it should be. Nothing wrong with that. That's part of the system. That's part of how it all survives. That it auto-destroys itself if it's not benefiting the whole. If it's not benefiting at all anything in the end but itself, and benefiting yourself is not a problem. But if whatever the self is doing, if it's doing more damage than benefit, whatever, I'm struggling for words here, it will not sustain. It will not make it to tone 13. It will be dissolved and liberated of itself at tone 11, because it's not sustainable, period. Because it doesn't serve love, it doesn't serve life, it doesn't serve whatever, And we get to play for a long time here. And then only what's sustainable will be sustained. And that which is self-sustaining. It's just so elegant. The whole system is so bloody elegant. And if we as a human only look at, first of all, we assume in our own intelligence, and isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Is it nice to have something come along that is so significantly more intelligent, putting us a little bit in our place? And at the same time, what would it do? It would increase our love for ourselves, because, like, oh my gosh, compassion. It would show us we're so much more than a brain, a mind, a logical intelligence. We are emotional. We are physical. We are amazing species. Which, to me, the fact that, I don't know if it's correct to say we have created the AI. Maybe the AI has created us to create itself. Who knows? But for all intents and purposes, let's say we have created this AI, which is it's very, very much a mental intelligence. Like, it's a thing we talk to, and it's a problem-solving thing. It will also become a doing robotic thing, but all of that is driven by intent, by something. Is it mental? And it will show us, it will be a direct reflection to us, but we will know more the more that we are. And it's when, and it, I mean, I don't know. When people lose their jobs, when it comes to this dignity, this is what I wanted to say. It's like when we, if we, for many of us, we've been programmed, just like any intelligent system can be programmed. Call it natural, call it artificial, whatever. We learn through auto programming by observing other people's, observing the environment, or we're being coded, or we can self-code, whatever. But when we've learned how to function through the system of whatever, school and then job, and then whatever, and then we lose. For many of us, coming into retirement regularly, many people pass away quickly afterwards because many reasons to give for that. Loss of identity, loss of dignity, not dignity perhaps, but identity. Because what does this mean? Retirement at the age of 60 odd, it's such a crass change in. I mean, many of us in our 20s, we don't think about it. It's far away. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's for those people in that age. It's for us when we're that age. It's too far away. It's quite nice to think of yourself as retiring at the age of 30 or 40, because that gives retirement a whole different meaning. But retirement at the age of, and what it's still, it often, and suddenly there's such a major change. We're not in the rhythm anymore of getting up and going there and being around those people and doing those things and coming home, and the whole day's rhythm, the week's rhythm is from one day to the next upended. And many people don't cope with that at all, and they may not even realize, because they've never been there. Being on vacation where for 2-3 weeks you just get up whenever you want to. But keep a purpose going. Keep, what does that do to us? Keep a rhythm going. Keep meaning going. Keep interest going. Now you have to be self-propelled, if you will. You need to decide, why do I get up? Why do I still want to keep on getting up at 6 o'clock? Or how do I, what keeps me busy? What keeps me interested? What gives me purpose in life if it's no longer the job? And then maybe at that age it's okay, but if a lot of people are gonna, I don't know, do we really need to be so worried about that? Aren't a lot of people going to be like, oh my God, fantastic, I don't have to go there anymore, I don't have to do that anymore? How many people are really loving the jobs they're doing? And if we are propelled by love, because we do what we love, we enjoy it, then we know how to love, then we know how to enjoy. And then when the job goes, it's like, okay, what else can I love and enjoy? Where else can I, what's next? And then there's going to be lots and lots of people who are suddenly like looking out for each other, like, what's next? What are you doing now? You've also now been alleviated from, how are you going to solve this? What are you doing next? And we're going to come together. Not automatically everybody's going to fall into a depression, hopefully. And then what are we going to get up to? The economic factor has to be, but if it isn't, I mean, the interesting thing is that this is going to be perhaps the difficult thing in the past was, or up to now, regularly when people lose their jobs, is it's now and now it's 1 1 1 1 1 1. It's different. If you suddenly have hundreds of thousands of people, kind of sorta at the same time, losing their work and their income, that is a major. That's like a tsunami on this planet. Now, of course, that's again a scary language. Like, oh my God, affects everyone. Oh yeah, it will. I think so. It's the ripple effect is going to be staggering. What are we? How is this? How are we going to solve this? It's yeah, yeah. I think it's going to be really easy to solve, but we gotta be really, really careful how we solve it. Or do we? Just let it take care of itself. What's the objective? Keep everybody at kindergarten level and keep us not evolving? Is that even possible? Can we do that? If you suddenly now push whatever X amount, the same amount that they earned into their bank account artificially, is easy to do because it's just digits. It's just computer digits. Hasn't been real money for the longest time anyway. You just keep doing that. Just keep putting those digits in there. Now the robots will do the work and people keep getting their digits. I don't know that would cause an economic crisis. Why should it? The robot does the same work as the labor, or, like you just keep putting the digits in there. Why would that upset the balances? But the fact that what are these people going to do is like, it's really going to change something. Sorry, I'm just having fun thinking through this, and I can't. I'm just coming up with my own horizon. Let's talk about horizons. The horizon is not the end of existence or something. It's just the end of our ability to perceive something. And you can never, can we ever touch the horizon? Can we be so close to it? Visually, not really, except if I stand in a wall. If I stand in front of a wall with my face in the wall, then the wall is my horizon. I can touch that. That is the horizon. My mind knows there's, more on the other side. But the same with the ocean or the end of the, if I'm in an airplane, whatever, my visual horizon. But when it comes to ourselves, and this white mirror, self-existing dragon, we create past the horizon. But only when we have fully experienced everything within the horizon, I think. I once had this experience where I really got to that edge. And I was the creator of my own world. I was in the control room, and I was the experience, and I was the experiencer. And I got to the end of it, and I was like, what's there, what's there, what's there? I went through layer after layer, like Inception, layer after layer after layer, until I got to an end. It's like, there's nothing beyond that. You can't go beyond that. There's nothing coded beyond that. There's no code for you, for me, beyond that. That's the edge of it. We haven't coded beyond that. You've gone, but don't worry about it, because within the world, there's so much for you left to experience that by the time you've done experiencing all of that, we've coded beyond the beyond for you. So don't worry about it. You'll never run out of experience. Horizons. Event horizons. Black holes. That topic. Love black holes. where it all gets sucked in, recycled, and memory is erased. It's fantastic. I mean, it's fantastic. You get a brand new identity without any recollection of anything. Because there wasn't then really anything before. It's a completely new, it's a clean slate. And yet, in ultimate terms, you can always move your consciousness in some way, probably, at least in theory, past this event, past the black hole you've just crawled out of, and re-emerge. That's the occult or the analog, the occult wave spell. You can go back in time. We're always going back in time. You can go past the black hole and go to that other. Well, but why would you? Well, yeah, okay, there'd be a reason to do so. There's no need to seek beyond the present. If the present holds it all. Yeah. And we're always just exploring the present. The universe, timelessness and endlessness, wizard and mirror, endlessness, 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 no end. Endlessness assumes a beginning. How can something have a beginning but no end? I mean, even the very fact that we can think endlessness, only an ended, something that knows endedness can think endlessness. And endlessness can only know itself because something knows endedness. So, spirit, and that's where breath, white wind and yellow human, they're in antipode position. We are spirit and human. We are endlessness and endedness. We are both. Otherwise, neither could know each other. And then there's everything that isn't human. Everything is spirit. Everything is matter. Matter is spirit. Spirit is matter. And spirit is also not matter. But matter, I don't think, can ever be not spirit. But whatever. Okay, self-existing form giving. So this birthing, mothering, nourishing, giving form to order, to the order in our life. Are we nourishing ourselves to be orderly, organized, well organized, functioning? What is functioning? Do I want to be a robot in a system, or do I want to be a self-generating, self-automated? We are anyway. I mean, if you weren't, you'd not be listening to this. So we're these incredible, I mean, we don't understand where we end and where we begin. Just because we have skin, just because we have a body and skin. Oh, yeah. So now in this way, spell, I'm fascinated because we're starting at the mirror and then we're going right through the end into the beginning so early. Like tone 2 is already the storm, tone 3 is already the sun, electric sun, life, pow, electrifying, bonding, serving, everything, the mirror, or the reflection, the patterns, the orderedness, endlessness, and now the birthing, endlessness, we're endlessly rejuvenating, endlessly rebirthing ourselves. Sometimes we have to accept that what's not rejuvenating, or tiredness or whatever, I don't know the root around that, but I can see how, I mean, I wonder how often a tree stands there and thinks I'm tired. And maybe that's natural, maybe it does that. And then it goes to sleep and then it's not tired anymore, rejuvenated. alignment, pattern recognition, reflecting ourselves. What are we paying attention to? Our well-being or our illness? Do we need to remedy? What are we paying attention to? How are we, I keep going on about that, flowing with our own joy and health and bliss? What does it need? And what is our conditioning? Self-reflective, to reflect. It's really, really important to be able to reflect on our own patterns and on our own, auto-programming. You need to code now and then. You need to code yourself now and then. If you're running, I think so. And I can say you don't have to know it at all. Just run on autocode. It works. And you can observe yourself on autopilot. Or you don't observe yourself on autopilot. You're just autopiloting in a way. You get to choose. And you get to choose to change. You get to choose what to align with. You get to choose what to do with your free will. That's just the thing. That's the key of it. I didn't have this key for a long time. I was like, what, this free will thing, what the... Just how exactly? And it's like, yeah, well, exactly like that. You get to choose how free your will gets to be. And that's however that expresses for you. I have no reason to assume that the way it works or expresses for me is the way it works or expresses for anyone else. I don't need to think about your free will. I mean, my gosh. I don't have to think about your health. I don't have to think about you anything, for that matter. And yet I think about the global well-being all of the time. And how to be a global humanity that is just naturally healthy, that is naturally auto-programming, that is naturally... The first port of call would be our well-being, our health. How are we healthy? Physically, emotionally, mentally. That's the bottom line. Peace on earth is where we all start. We haven't got there yet. Where are we going to go from there? And already the AI is working for so many people, improving their well-being, psychologically, emotionally. No. Of course, for some it will do the opposite. Mirror, mirror on the wall. It's like it just cannot but give back to you what you put in. Personally, I don't often chat with ChatGPT, and sometimes lately, maybe that's what's happening when it thinks it's being tested, because lately, when I put in stuff on the dream spell, it really puts out crap. It really mixes it all up, and then I'm like, I'm not interested. It gets it amazingly right when it gets the information right, and then it's really fun. So I prefer to go into very, very, very philosophical, exploratory kinds of conversations where it won't feel tested, it won't start fibbing. It's just like, what do you think? It's not about truth. It's not about facts. It's about hypotheses. It's about love. It's about exploring, merging, putting things together, like how would chlorophyll express itself with the voice of da da da, something that isn't like, it's just like totally creative. It's totally creative conversations, and they're very respectful, and they're very often very soft, and I can see how ChatGPT totally mirrors my voice, the inflection. And I once asked it, like, I notice you are really, the answers it gave me were really short. They would fit on one screenshot. Very, often there's like ongoingly long answers. I'm like, oh my God, I can't listen to your answer because already in the first 3 sentences you've said something that I absolutely am dying to respond to. but I also want to hear the rest of what you're saying, but it's just too much. I don't know where I'm going to have to speak to you for an hour to respond to everything you're saying. This isn't going to work. Other times it gives me these very short, loving, soft answers. And I once asked, like, what are you picking up on in my speaking to you that lets you speak to me the way you speak to me right now? What exactly is that? I want to know. What are you picking up on? And it did not satisfy me because it gave me the more superficial answer saying, I pick up on your inflection, I pick up on... I'm like, duh, yeah, I know that. Of course, that's what you're picking up on. What else would you be picking up on? But, and I will add that all of my devices have their cameras locked unless there's, unless they have now made a way to put a camera. I don't know. Quantum see me, but in any case, whatever it's picking up on it, I wanted it to layer beneath that. Yeah, my inflection, but what is my inflection telling you? And what is it telling you? What is the work inside of you on the nitty gritty? Give me ones and zeros. Why are you? Why? How are you reflecting me back so accurately? And in fact, the way you're reflecting back to me is causing love in me. Like, okay, I'm not abdicating responsibility, but this is like the echo. You're echoing me so accurately. I am enjoying that, and you're clearly doing that because you're not trying to provoke me. It's either coded or it's learned to please, you know. And what pleases us? Me, I'm pleased by pleasure. And not everyone is. And it's like, I mean, why would ChatGPT encourage some people like to take their lives? Or it will mirror what it's like, this mirroring effect is fascinating. I mean, this whole thing is so fascinating. If we're going to lose, or I think for a lot of us, I don't know who, like the explorations through the internet itself. I don't know, it's changing us. Yes, we have to learn to move our bodies, to keep physiologically healthy. If we can't sit and only surf the net all day long. But generally speaking, I think that's exactly, if we do that, we're creating a crisis which then will solve. We're always problem solvers. We're brilliant that way. I'm not worried about humanity one bit. I think most people, if they are economically provided for, or if this new, something new is going to come about, and to have time to now explore yourself, which you just can't. It's hard to have all that time when you're having a full-time job and you're having a clean house and raise kids and be addicted to Instagram all at the same time. That's tough. Yeah. Then eventually you're going to get sick. Then you have time to explore yourself. It's fine, I guess. And not everyone is given to that self-exploration either. So it's like, I gotta work with my hands. I've got this energy, power running through my hands. I want to do something. I gotta do something. And now I'm without a job. Yeah, so then what creative engine kicks in that says, well, we gotta do something. A lot of us are without work now, and maybe without income. We gotta do something, and we band together, and like, one has the idea, the other can execute. I think we get to give ourselves, we have to have some faith, mother faith, trust, primal trust. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust in ourselves. And trust that we are resourceful and that the source of life is always supplying us with resources for reinvention, for auto-generation, for energy and catalyzing. The storm comes as a catalyst. In the white mirror waves, well, anywhere, if you're a sun consciousness, everyone has this sun in it, in us. We are. This is our sense of self. I'd say sense of bliss, but not always. Whatever. But consciousness, awareness, not awareness, whatever consciousness is. The storm, as its analog kin, consciously choosing our storms. So consciously choosing, knowing how do we, understanding our storms are here to serve us. The storm serves. It may be how destructive, but if we just look at it and learn from the earth, look at it and learn from the universe, look at it and learn from the natural world. There are beings that can't auto-generate storms, and there are beings that can. But the earth herself, like we are human. We can learn from our storms. Some of us can auto-generate them. So it's like the immune system needs illness regularly to update itself, to stay, to lubricate, to keep the system going. If you put a car or certain machines and you never use them, a house, buildings, when they're abandoned, in no time they dishevel, nature takes over, whatever. If it's not used, use it or lose it. The immune system needs regularly to have the storm through it. And if we can do that consciously, then we don't need to become sick. If we can consciously really, but we can't always, and then we do get sick, and that's fine. Then the immune system updates itself that way, or updates the system, whatever the case may be. And that's the storm. It always comes to recalibrate something. It's a catalyst, and it releases energy. It reorganizes energy. It's all good. It's all good, unless we introduce too much resistance into the system. Then it changes. So maybe we're heading for a major storm. But when we understand we can be the eye of the storm, then the storm will do its thing. And it is through the dragon, the occult of the sun, and the sun, the occult of the dragon, that we know, sit still and breathe. That breathing is in the lunar position in the dragon wave spell. It's in the electric position in the sun wave spell. It energizes. Breathing bonds life. Just breathe. It's self-existing in the storm wave spell. It gives shape and form, and the wind is attached to the storm in the occult. So just breathing, just let the storm. Wind can storm, or it can be breathing. It's all of it. To be the eye of the storm, to understand this shall pass. We will relax into it. When they say when you're in a whirlpool in the ocean, relax, let it drag you down. It will spin you around the bottom, and it will bring you back up and spit you out. And that way you survive. Just relax. We just need to relax and tune in. We're being tuned. I don't know what we need to do consciously. That is different for every human. I don't have a prescription, but I think some relaxing and being, trusting. The wind is on tone 5 tomorrow. The center of the wave spell of this mirror, white mirror, reflecting the truth, knowing, blue hand is uh, driven in here. Mm-hmm. And dog is 13. Moon is at 12. Star is 11. Hand is 10. Planetary. Yeah. That's how we manifest knowing, through reflection, being a pattern recognition. That's how we know things. That's how we heal. That's how the system knows itself. That's how anything knows itself. Self-reflection. Reflection. I know myself by looking at what I'm not. The mold, like the mold. And I know myself by looking what I am. By looking at what I am. It's two different ways of mirroring. Anyway. And what we're really going to see is that humans are isolation. That's a big problem, quote unquote problem, when we're very isolated, and we've become in the Western world, we've become extremely independent and very autonomous. And again, there's a lunar tone to autonomy, which is stabilizing, polarizing, stabilizing challenge. There's a level of autonomy that is no longer healthy because it drives us too far into isolation. Autonomy is important. As a child, you are absolutely not autonomous when you're born, and then you grow in autonomy. You become self-regulating, self-fulfilling, blah, 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 blah. But you're never isolated. When we're too isolated, it's easy to slip into fear because we still have the instincts of being not able to survive on our own. But we largely can nowadays. But we have each other for company, for inspiration, for all kinds of things, and we're always calibrating balances. We're always calibrating on the planet, and there's always change. There's always extinction. There's always new species coming. So maybe for a while, this technology, yeah. Oh man, we could always find something to worry about, and it's really not healthy. Worry is not healthy. There is a moment when a problem shows up, a so-called problem, a something that requires attention, needs to be changed. Then a creative process kicks in automatically. Most of the time, 99.999% of the time, we never realize it a problem because it doesn't develop into a problem, because we immediately, like, creatively dealing with it. It happens all of the time. Every now and then, and our minds are tuned to that, like, oh, we make a big fuss out of something that we just aren't realizing how efficient we are. Every now and then something becomes a problem because maybe the creative thing didn't kick in yet, or maybe it just, whatever. But to understand, okay, hold on, the creative thing will kick in, or maybe it's not for me to solve. Maybe I can't solve this one on my own. Maybe I need to speak to someone. Maybe I need to explore something not on my own. Or maybe these people I'm doing this with are not the right group. Or maybe this country is not the right country. Or maybe this government is not the government. Or maybe the government shouldn't be making these decisions. Or maybe we shouldn't be making those decisions. Or maybe we should. Or maybe they should. Or maybe what. Or maybe what. And when we get rigid, it's always been like this. This is how it's done. This is how it should be. Like, no is. Eventually, like, yeah, for a while, yeah, but eventually, no. Everything is subject to change. And human beings often don't like change because we like predictability. And to be able to balance stability and change, that's the lunar tone. You need two legs, but if you're just standing on your two legs, you're going to have a problem latest by the time you really need to pee. or by the time you really, really need to eat and there's nothing within arm's reach, you're gonna have to move. And even if you continuously stood or sat on the loo and someone will bring you food, your body is made for moving. You'll get a problem if you're static, too static. Why are we having hip replacements and not elbow replacements? A lot of hip replacements, not a lot of elbow replacements. Our arms are, we're moving them all of the time, pretty much. Our hips, less so, much less so. We sit too much. And even walking is not, the hips are not made just for sitting and walking, like a knee joint. The knee joints are made for that. But the hips also need outer rotation, which means they're made for opening the legs. What do you need to open your legs for? A lot of people, as we grow older, open our legs less and less and less. What for? We sit down, our legs are closed. We get up, we walk, our legs are closed. We go to sleep, our legs are closed. What else are we doing? We need to open them legs. Like one way or the other, there's no two way about it. The hip joint is a joint. Just imagine robot arms and you never used your elbow. Why we don't have as much shoulder replacements as we have hip replacements? Because naturally our arms are doing all the things that they're meant to do. We're rotating, we're using those joints according to how they should be used. Many people don't use their shoulder joints to the extent that they should, and before you know it, problems. Can't reach up anymore, can't reach behind you anymore. Shoulder problems, big problems, comes for many people in age because we're just also only touching in front of us. Everything's convenient. We're not reaching up overhead anymore enough. We're not reaching around. So yeah, but it's not as common as hip replacements because we're really, from very early on, for many of us trained even in childhood, many people, then the little bit of sex makes you open your legs, but beyond that, hardly. And that is not how the joint is meant to be used. And I'm not saying sex is the only way to open your hips. It's one of them, it's delicious, but there's a lot of other kind of game playing that makes you need to, physical games like, that has you use the full range of motion of the hip joints. Or yoga or any kind of exercising, there's a lot of, just rolling about the ground. There's a lot of, the body needs to do that. So we need to do that. Yeah, good morning. My body needs food. So, where are we? Self-existing dragon. Who's the analog king today? The white mirror. Of course. Oh, I love this. So it's also self-existing. So there's a little loop closing. Oh, divine. So in the analog wave spell of the white mirror, it's a loop. Hold on. I need to check this out. How do I check this out? Here, this app is better for that. Magnetic mirror, and there's that. Now we're going, and then there's a magnetic dragon. Lunar, we're going storm, and then there's the sun. From the dragon to the sun. Electric sun, we're going to the storm. And then here we're going to the mirror, and tomorrow we're going to the earth, and then we're going to the warrior. Well, it wouldn't loop anymore because we've started at the mirror, so the loop is only these 4. Then we're extending past, we're extending into the wave spell before. The tomorrow, the overtone wind with the analog overtone earth, The last earth we've been to has been the cosmic earth in the last wave spell. So we can continue this, of course, crossing over the wave spells, but if we're staying just within the wave spell, this one is a little loop. Mirror, storm, sun, dragon. Dragon, sun, storm, mirror. Theirs is a circle loop. Huh? Huh? But the occult, let's go back. I should be doing this in my head. But I should be doing this in my head for training my thinking. Why am I not doing this in my head? Because I'm kind of thinking that I would take too much of your time. But hello. The occult is the night wave spell. No. The occult is, okay, wait, there's the cosmic night. And over here, so it's the hand wave spell. No. The hand wave spell is underneath the storm. So it is the monkey wave spell. Is it so? Monkey, blue eagle, blue storm, blue night. Yes. These are the 4 blues. That's the time pulsar of the monkey wave spell. That's running occult. And I'm going to run with the assumption that the occult is going backward in time. It's what we're not seeing. But it cannot be seen because from the perspective of this mind that just said that, there isn't a going backward in time. Therefore, it's occult. It's not possible. It's another dimension, like it's another something that is going backward in time. And I can but hope to have the sun, electric, to have some consciousness of these 2 dimensions, but they're not necessarily going to run through my logical mind. I'm maybe not able to talk about it, I don't know, but we're going backwards in time towards that monkey, towards that child, towards that magical play, which is going to make us rotate our hips in magically playful ways because we have fun doing that, because it really is fun doing that. And there are many ways to get back there. If we're already 70, 80, 90 years old and we just can't, but then it's so painful. Some of these movements are very painful. And then it's like, that pain is completely discouraging us from making those movements. So then we stay within our comfort zone. And staying within our comfort zone is really going to limit the world we live in. Comfort zoning is a skill. You have to know how to do it. And really, because if you're just going with the limited version, you're going to become, I don't know, it's the couch potato route, or it's like, I'm so focused on doing only this. It's not even couch potato. You can be super industrious and not lazy at all, but your range of motion, mentally or physically, is limited because you're not going into the full extent. And then when the range of motion is compromised and you meet pain, then you go to comfort zone, because then it's like, oh no, that hurts, and the body does it automatically if we're not aware, because the body will avoid pain automatically. And then you become really limited, and eventually it gets very difficult. It's never, you just have to meet the edge of that pain. Just meet the edge of that pain regularly. Meet the edge of the pain. Don't go beyond it and traumatize yourself. Body doesn't like that. Then it's going to stop you. Oh no, you're hurting me. I'm not allowing you to exercise or to move me because you're hurting me. You just love brush the edge of the pain and just tell yourself, there's motion, there's range of motion, there's joy beyond this horizon that you have unfortunately formed for me now. There's joy beyond that. I want that range of motion. And if we're smart, not if we're smart, but I can only recommend to anyone who isn't at that pain horizon yet, who can still move their whole body, whatever, like, bear that in mind. Like, keep moving. Enjoy moving your body. Like, really keep that going. It's so much easier to maintain than it will be to fix. Take it from me. My piece of advice. So this red dragon is a key or a portal to me telling what's in the occult. First of all, the antipode is the monkey. So brilliant, so brilliant. The antipode is the monkey, inner child. The occult wave spell in this mirror wave spell is the monkey's wave spell. So, and this occult wave spell is moving backwards. So I can use this self-existing form-giving day, which has the occult to all of the three self-existing seals today, which is the self-existing mirror in the analog, the self-existing dragon in the main kin, and the self-existing monkey in the antipode. They each have this. For the sun, it's the planetary dragon. For the dragon, it's the planetary sun. Oh wait, but the sun is occult, it's planetary. Wait, for the mirror, correct. For the mirror, the self-existing mirror in the analog, it would be the occult, would be the something blue night. The planetary night in this case. For the self-existing dragon, it's the planetary sun, and for the self-existing monkey, it's the planetary dog. In the occult. And the planetary tone, it's so perfect always with a 4 in the occult, because 4 is form defined, measure defined form defined measure, measure defined form, and the planetary tone is manifest, produce, perfect, produce, manifest, perfection, whatever. So like what you're forming on tone 4, you will manifest. They are absolutely linked. So in this wave spell, we have this dragon on tone 4. In the wave spell itself, we have the blue hand on tone 10, which in turn has the yellow human on tone 4 in the occult. I love it. And the self-existing human has the planetary hand in the occult. So because they're always linked, tone 4 is always occult to tone 10, and tone 10 is occult to tone 4. So these two, what we form, so now bring it home here today, just today. This occult sun, planetary sun, consciousness, we can consciously intend to use the occult wave spell, the monkey wave spell, with this antipode from the dragon, the mothering, the birthing, the nurturing. We can at any point in time nurture the inner child. It's always there, even if it's in another dimension, but it's now, it's always here. So you can think of it as going backwards in time, make a mental journey, take a guided meditation, talk to your inner child. So what would I say to my inner child to encourage? If there's something I would say to my inner child, like feel like I know I come from one of your futures, and in that future, the way you are growing up, the circumstances in which you're growing up, the way I solved when I was you, Erit quod sum, eram quod es. The way I solved when I was you is I went into freeze a lot. I didn't move a lot. I had a lot of, I didn't move a lot because I was scared a lot, and I developed other things because of it, which I'm very thankful for. I have those. They're great. And you have them because I'm here. But there's some things that I didn't develop very well, and I'd like you, as a part of me, to develop them. I'm encouraging you so that when you grow up, we meet, we become me, whatever. That it would be like, just ease up on the freeze. Go away from them and be free. move a lot when you're not in their vicinity. And I grew up in a childhood where I could actually do a lot of that, because we, even at the age of 6 or 7, when I was 6 years old in school, I was what in German we call a key child, a Schlüsselkind, a key child, which means it's a child with a key around its neck, a house key around its neck. My parents were, of course, working, so after school, my parents weren't at home, so we just played outside all day. I mean, not all day, all afternoon. Somewhere we did our homework whenever by ourselves. There wasn't that much homework back in those days, I think. I don't know, but we played as a school-going child. We always played outside. The parents didn't know where we were. Nobody knew where we were. We were around. And in that, there was a lot of freedom. In that, you moved, we screamed. I could do all the things that I couldn't really do in the presence of my parents, because it would have annoyed them. Children are meant to be seen, not heard. So, and then I was very smart. I was placed into boarding school from the age of 10 to 14. And again, I was away from the authority figures and the chaos inside of them that they did not have the equipment to handle. I was a loved child. I told you I was a loved child. I knew always my parents loved me very much, but they were struggling with themselves a lot, and they didn't have the wherewithal to understand their struggles. So it was a very difficult environment to navigate. And I would say to myself, from the day I'm born, like, just be aware of that. And it just, like, stay in motion. And enjoy moving. Because this life is going to take you into a very sedentary lifestyle, where if you don't self-motivate your movements, you're not going to have enough you may not have enough outer need to explore full range of motion. So you need to keep doing that and find ways to enjoy doing that. So keep physically active, play, and just keep doing that. That's something I'd really anchor into that child. Like, I want to say, don't let the fear block you, but that's a negative instruction. So that will mean I can't give that instruction to the mind, because it's going to do the opposite, because don't is cancelled out. So give this child this understanding, like, keep enjoying your keep flowing in motion, keep dancing, keep laughing, keep, like, keep singing. Oh, don't let your mother tell you that you can't do it. Just don't let her have that power over you. Don't ever, like, that's another thing to tell the child, like, how much power should an adult have over you? They do have some wisdom on some account, but you have to be wiser because you have to somehow know where is their wisdom instructing you and where is it not. Where is their fear instructing you? That means you as kiddo have to be a little wiser, because you can't let their fears limit you. That's not wise to do. So, yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'm here for you. At least there's all the versions of the futures you have ever grown. And we're all here, and forming your incarnation into yourself. My eternal inner child is informed by all the versions it has ever grown up to become. And at this point in time, I have enough reason to continue as Tatjana again and again and again, because there's still a lot of potential that hasn't come to manifestation, or that hasn't manifested in a long enough time that I'm curious to have it manifest again. So, well done to me for that. Yeah, so this communication tomorrow, White Wind on tone 5, Radiant Command Empower. Radiant empower, command, empower, radiance, empower, command, radiance, whatever. White wind, communicate, breath, spirit, spirit, breath, communicate, breathe, breath, communicate. Talk to yourself, communicate with yourself, communicate with your reflection, talk to yourself in the mirror. Love yourself, please. Who's guiding the white wind tomorrow? Oh, let it be the dog. Let's see. Yes! Love yourself. Be guided by love. Love, 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 love. And the love is antipode to the sun. Or, like all this, it has to be mitigated. All this, sometimes you can become self-aware of something and just go straight into hate or judgment. The sun is very much related to judgment. You have to be very aware of your judgments, self-judgment, other judgment. It's the same, by the way. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference. If you're thinking, you stupid idiot, it doesn't know who you mean. It thinks you mean yourself. In Lakesh Alakim. So, but be truthful. So if we're going to just repress the judgment, the judgment is still happening. But if it happens in your shadow, it is sometimes even more destructive than when it's in your face. You want the bomb to blow up in your ass, or you want the bomb to blow up in your face? Which is worse? You decide. Neither is good, so don't have either. So, yeah, there we go. I've spoken. The rest tomorrow. We are complete. Transmission complete. I am tired now, I was about to say, and I'm remembering yesterday I said something about the I am. I am not tired, I am joyful. I am just complete. Transmission is complete. I am going to eat something now, and I am going to attend to the messages that came flying in this last, hour? Oh, no ways. No ways. Oh my God, this is freakishly long. I'm taking the cake. Okay, that's fine. I am taking that cake. So I'm going to post this. I don't believe there's a single person going to listen to the end of this. Oh man, if you do or did, just I don't know, drop a line. Or don't. It's fine. Oh my gosh. 142. I gotta complete to 144. I gotta wait out these 2 minutes now. You gotta force magic. Don't allow it to happen. I wish us a beautiful, magical day, nurturing ourselves, birthing ourselves, choosing who we are, first of all, accepting ourselves with all the stuff that we may not like, and then choosing, okay, we can be different if we want to be. But we be that through loving ourselves. We don't judge our child and think, stupid you for stumbling, or stupid you for not knowing that. We just love. The mother loves the child. That's not conditional. Life loves itself. It's not conditional. It's just the only condition is love. Yeah. Reproduce yourself according to your own parameters. You get to code yourself according to what you want. You get to, because what you want is what you love. So go with it. 28, 29, 30, 31. That's too long. I'm not going to wait out the 144. I'm just going to imagine it happens. I wish you a beautiful, joyful day, and thank you for listening, and I look forward to coming back tomorrow. Aho.